Hi and welcome to part 8 of this tutorial. In this part we're going to implement the MCG controller we made in the last episode. So when we have this, we can animate. And the tracks will move automatically like they should. And also we are going to rig these joysticks here so that when the boom moves, the joystick moves automatically. So here only the arm is animated. Alright, let's start. Okay, so in episode 6 we made the spinner here to control the track. We also made it work when we rotate the excavator on the spot. So take a look at how we did that. There's a list controller on the percent. One is linked to this distance value here, and one is a script controller that calculates from this rotation. So the custom MCG controller we made in last episode, this will take care of the rotation, so we don't need this one, but we can still keep it and just rename it to MCG and assign a new controller to it and float object travel. So now we can pick the center helper of the track, this one, but now we'll be rotating way too fast. This is because we need to divide it by the length of the track, so we get the percent value. Just going to go to measure 40.958, 40.958. But we animated this one, so we need to delete the animation on that one. And it works now automatically. Let's just test for our rotation. So notice it stops working here. That is because on the controller we have from frame and to frame. And the forward axis is going to be X, so that we don't need to change that one. So that is working. But I also want to just keep this distance here, so we can offset it, or if we want it to spin or something, you have the ability to here. But also want to add the from frame and to frame here on the controller, so that you don't need to go in here and access the controller itself. So let's go to animation, parameter editor, going to be integer, to from frame, default 0, okay, just going to, and auto to frame, default 100, add, now we can just copy this controller here, why can't I copy it? Does it need to be animated first? Yes. So I don't think Max actually puts a controller on it before it's animated. So let's find the here, paste instance, of course, and the to frame, copy. So now it stops at 10. Yep. So that's it for that. I won't bother doing on the other side for now, for this video. The next thing I want to do is, if we take a look on the cab here, we have some joysticks. So let's make it so that they automatically move when the boom moves. So let's isolate these and this and this. Let's also get these controls so we can test and make sure the IK is off. Yep. Okay, so let's make a point helper. Okay, so this one doesn't have the pivot in the correct place. Let's see if there is some more. Yeah, we can use this one. point joystick 0. Copy it and call it look at. Link it to the 0. I'll make this pink. I usually do that with look at constraints. Copy this. Okay, so I see the axis here. I want it to be mostly aligned with the world. Like that. This is the look at target 0. Copy. And this is the look at target. Now add the look at constraint to this one. Remove the view line. Set the look at axis to C and the source and up nodes to Y. Link this up here. So I want this to move forwards or backwards based on the movement of the boom here. So if it goes forward, I want the joystick to look at target to go forward, and if it goes backwards, I want this also to go backwards. And for that, I'm actually going to make another helper. Zero out this rotation here. I see I got some weird So this is going to be joystick position constraint. And position constraint target. and the lookat target is going to be linked to this position constraint. So what we're actually going to be controlling here is the weight of this position constraint. So it's going to jump between 100 and negative. And then we are going to have a spring on the lookat constraint, so it will bounce a little bit and not just go instantly to this position. So on the position constraint here, the weight, position constraint weight, assign controller, and a float script. So this is going to be its target. So I'm going to make a variable called target, create, assign constant, $, then we get this selected. So assign to object, point control boom. Then I'm going to say A equals target rotation. Going to have it in sys parent and the Y rotation. So this is going to be the current value of this rotation, and B will need the previous frame, so that way we can see if it has moved since the last frame. So at time f minus 1, and this same here. So I can animate this so we can test. Then if we do, I'm just going to test. If it hasn't moved, it should be 0. So here it starts moving. So when the arm goes backwards, the joystick goes backwards, and the opposite. But now it depends on the speed, but I only wanted the constraint to jump to these targets. So let's call this C. So if C is less than 0, or actually there could be some floating number errors in the calculations here. So even though it hasn't moved, it might fluctuate between a very small value. So in that case it will jump like crazy on each frame. So we'll just have a small value here. If it's less than 0.0, like that, then -1, else if C is bigger than 0.001, then 1, else 0. The reason I want to do this like that is because now it's very easy to tune how much I want the joystick to move. And this doesn't look any good, so the last part here is to add a spring on the looker targets. So animation position controllers and spring. I think it looks a little bit stiff. So if I press self influence here and do a bit more dampening, yeah, I think that looks better. Then I can just copy this whole rig over here. And I need to edit this script controller. So this is the target. So let's add some animation to this one as well. So now we see it clips here, but because the way we rigged it, we can just move these like that. So yeah, that's it for this episode. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.